there, my name is Thomas Krallo and welcome to my YouTube channel where we talk all things trading, finances and money in general, as well as a few other things. Now, the question is, how much money did I lose on GameStop? As you might know, GME, the abbreviation for GameStop, was one of the stocks that suddenly skyrocketed and then just plummeted back down. And quite a lot of people were hyping about it, that, you know, it's the new revolution in whatever, and some people were saying that, oh, this is the worst investment ever, but there was just in general a huge hype about it. And as you can see, it's right there on one of the screens. Market is currently closed, but you can see it there on the left, the daily chart, the 1 hour chart, and 1 minute chart, the trading time frame. And there is that explosion, basically from $30, $20, whatever, $30 to about $500, and then back down to currently at $52. The question is, how much money did Thomas Krallo lose on all of this nonsense? As much as I'd want to tell you that I lost something on it, obviously I did not lose anything on it. Why? I've never participated in such bullcrap, and otherwise I would not have been, you know, Thomas Krallo. The reason here is simple. This is a usual securities fraud, as it's called, you know, when you see those gifs, Elon Musk sitting in his Tesla Roadster and says, you know, get in, loser, we're committing securities fraud. So this is just ridiculously funny, but it is at the same time ironical and absolutely true. This kind of pump and dump and
power of the pump.
If you've been following me for a while, then you'll already know what is pump and dump. And this is exactly what a pump and dump is, and I'm smart enough not to participate in a pump and dump, because usually when this pump and dump becomes apparent and when some explosion like this becomes apparent, most of the time it's already too late to make any early decision to get in. Everybody is getting in at such a rate that it's just not possible to make a rational conclusion. And the problem here is, I'm not going to get into very many technical details here, I'm just going to cover the basics. That if you have, you know, common sense, then you will understand, you know, what's happening. Just look at the company intrinsically and what's happening to the company in general. If you go back years in GameStop and take a look at what's happening with it in general, then you will have a few questions about this whole situation as well, because the stock was, compared to what it once was, it was quite low, and for a good reason, for a number of good reasons. And when something like this happens, it becomes apparent that when there is a paradox in the market, and especially right now with all the markets being at all-time highs, and the world being in the toilet in general, the economy, and you know, it's a paradox. And this is something we'll talk about in this video as well, this paradox of non-explainable things that don't just compute. It's like 2 + 15 equals an apple, you know, it just makes absolutely no sense. And so in this case with GameStop, when the paradox appears, and I get the sense of a paradox, and I did look at it, I mean, I'm sometimes, even though I'm busy with the trading education, teaching people how to trade, I still do look at different investment opportunities, but I don't really trade that very actively. But when I looked at it, I did have that sense of a paradox, and it just took me, you know, a few minutes to read about it in this whole situation. And sure, did I expect that it will be pumped a little bit higher than at the moment when I was looking at it? Sure. But the problem is of the paradox, that it's obvious when there is a paradox in a certain circumstance, it is evident that it's a pump and dump. And when it's being a pump and dump, then it obviously is going to be falling. And the biggest problem here is, when is it going to be falling? At which point? At $100, at $200, at $300? When? You never know. And putting any money into it without having a portfolio of high-risk investments like this, you will have to have either put in a really small amount of money just for fun into it, which, I mean, it's not really that much fun. If that's your fetish and that's how you like to have fun, then go for it, but it's not my cup of tea, certainly. And the problem with these kinds of investments, I have no idea when it's gonna reverse and when it's gonna, you know, because as you can see here, it's really fast. So it's in the daily chart, it's just a hectic of up and down, and any of those downs can just turn into a down forever, like what's happening right now, unless some bullshit news come out again, which I don't know, probably not. I did not really follow it after that. When I see pump and dump and a paradox, I just delete it from my watch list, because it just is not of interest to me. Why do people get into bullshit like this, and why do people actually help to pump these kinds of stocks and help those who are at the steering wheel of this whole securities fraud to actually make money? Because of FOMO. Trading Psychology 101. Feeling of FOMO, feeling of missing out on something. So the feeling that you're missing the opportunity of the lifetime. It's like getting into Bitcoin at 40,000 euro right now. Is it gonna climb? Maybe. Is it gonna fall? Probably. Is it gonna fold and climb? Theoretically. Even me, I have no fucking idea. I'm not an Illuminati. I'm not some person who is behind Donald Trump or currently Joe Biden, and all those names are absolutely the same. They're just people behind them, you know, operating the whole show and putting up a really nice show behind them, in front of the curtain. But these are the people who know what's gonna happen to it, you know, like Elon Musk buying $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. When did he buy it, really? I mean, and what's his plan here? Does he have that chat room with his fellow billionaires who are just manipulating market up and down? Of course. Is this a crime and fraud and everything not to do? Yes, according to the law book, but not according to their wallets. And I do my best not to participate in this because I know that it's just a trap. And this is just gambling. So when you see that GameStop is at $100 and everybody's saying it's skyrocketing to $1 million per share or whatever, and you know, you have that feeling, you have to try. And if you have $10,000 and you just throw in $100, that's fine. Just buy one share and just look at it. But some people are pissing away their whole existence on something like this. There is a guy who became my student recently, and he admitted to me that he lost over $50,000 in GameStop alone. And I was like, holy shit. And the thing is, he doesn't have a $5 million trading deposit. He had like about 60,000. So pretty much the whole trading deposit of his was dedicated to the GameStop pump and dump bullshit, which is just an uncontrollable, insane trade. And it's a lot more dangerous than any kind of hyperactive indicator day trading in Forex. This is just unpredictable. You never know what those people who are behind the curtain are gonna do. I prefer to pick medium stocks that are explainable, understandable, they have some kind of a track record, they are going in a certain direction. When it comes to stocks, for example, with futures, it's ever so slightly different. And I'm just finding those technical opportunities to have scalp trades or some intraday trades or sometimes swing trades in those to ride that momentum of that impulse of the places where the supply and demand shifts, etc. So I'm just explaining it in a simple way, but there are many moving parts even to my approach. It's a complex approach. It's not exactly as simple as, you know, having three simplest rules and then just going into the market and making money. No, it's not that simple. It's actually very complicated, and that's why there are 164 lectures in my trading learning program. But in general, what I'm looking for is explainable, replicable, and something that behind it, the entry itself is based on technical aspects. When something is technical, it means that you can record it. You can break it down to zeros and ones, like a computer code. And that's when you can actually analyze it. Something like GameStop is impossible to analyze. They are pumping it. When are they gonna start gathering their profits? When are they gonna be exiting their trades? And the same thing is with penny stocks. When those chat rooms, you know, they're pumping those stocks and most of the people lose money and the owner of the chat room makes money. It's just also securities fraud, basically. So these kinds of stocks, there is nothing really happening in the company, or maybe there is some small good news or some good report, but it's just blown so out of proportion that the stock from 50 cents goes to like $5 in one pre-market session. I mean, how the hell does this happen? So that's why I never participate in such a hype. That's why I never recommend to participate in such a hype. Unless you have some kind of insider information and you're getting into GameStop at like $30, like right before the explosion. Then it's okay, certainly, I mean, common sense, right? But when something was $30 and now it's $100, I would still not get into it. Just not, because 9 times out of 10, you're not gonna make any money and you're gonna probably lose a lot of money. And yeah, so be very, very careful. And usually in such high volatility situations, the stops might be dragged because of the spread, etc. And it might become very expensive very, very quickly. For example, with crypto, I'm not a big fan, I'm not a big friend of crypto, but I do have a crypto portfolio. And yes, if you've been following me on Instagram, then you've already seen precisely what my crypto portfolio consists of. And I did have Bitcoin as well, but I sold it off at about a bit over $20,000 because I saw really high resistance, strong resistance from that level and whatever. So it was my decision, but I still made 300% return on it. So that was absolutely fine with me. But what I've kept was the rest of my crypto portfolio, which was relatively smaller by the proportion of crypto, of the percentage of the portfolio per the cryptocurrency. But still, I still have about 15 cryptocurrencies left, the ones that I've purchased in the end of 2019 and the beginning of 2020. So about a year ago, a little bit over more than a year ago. And that investment, the reason why I got into crypto, because I saw that they are just in the toilet, just on the bottom, basically. All of the cryptos, most of them, like 13 out of 15 that I've purchased, they all looked something like this. So going up and then completely down on the bottom. That's the reason why I got into the crypto market at that time. I just decided, why not? I'll just put the next amount of money. It wasn't a horribly, hugely incredible amount of money, but it was still an okay amount of money. And as of this point, if you can check out and see where those cryptocurrencies were when I purchased them. I've purchased cryptocurrencies like Chainlink, Tezos, BitTorrent, Cosmos, Neo, Binance Coin, XRP, Ripple, and quite a few others. So, and right now, some of those cryptocurrencies, they have gone to about X10, so about 1,000% income. Some came to 2,000% income. Some, the worst one is currently at about 100%, so it just doubled. It's the worst one that I have in my crypto portfolio. So as of right now, my crypto portfolio is at a profit of about 800%. Believe it or not, it's not a super huge portfolio, but since this climb of about 800 to 900%, it became quite a big portfolio already, to be honest. But I'm still holding it. We'll see what happens, maybe. But again, will it just go down and drop now after this super strong climb? Maybe. Will it then go back up again with everything that's happening in the world? I believe so. When is that gonna happen? I don't know. I am not, again, I'm not in that chat room with Elon Musk and all the people behind the wheel. So I'm just there trying to make a buck. So what I'm gonna do is just I'm gonna control the situation and just put my finger into the sky, basically. That's why I've always preferred, but again, I've gotten in very low. So if, for example, I see Chainlink, I bought it at $1.50, $1.80, so something like this, the Chainlink. So if I would see that Chainlink is suddenly from $1.50, it rose to $5. Will I buy it? No. Why would I buy it? Because it's already exploding up. I mean, it's already too late. So I would either get in at $1.50, which I did, or I would do nothing. So as this whole year passed and this up and down increase in the income that I've made from this crypto portfolio, I did not put in an extra cent. I might have put in some extra money if it would have moved down lower, which it actually did at some point, but I still did nothing. I considered putting in extra money, but then I just kept it as it is because it was an okay scenario and just okay look in general. And these are the kinds of things that, for my taste, as cryptocurrencies and everything is happening in the world, and pump and dumps like GameStop are really difficult, and you have to be very, very careful. And for that reason, I always enjoyed intraday trading. Number one, you can make bigger profit than with, portfolio building and, all that leveraged risk and, reducing your exposure and blah, 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 blah. And at the same time, it's, in my opinion, a lot easier to control. So you know exactly what is happening, exactly why it's happening, exactly where it should happen. You place a super short stop. It either works or it doesn't. That's it. And you don't even have to leave, most of the time you don't have to leave your trades overnight, because sometimes, you know, shit happens, and that shit in the world of trading is called a huge gap, because something happened beyond the market open hours, and it's just ridiculous. So yeah, I hope that you've enjoyed this video. I hope that it was useful for you. I hope I was able to clear up a few things and share my view to things like GameStop and those kinds of ridiculous, super high risk investments. And maybe you have some questions, feel free to comment and to like this video, which show me some support would be awesome. And please subscribe, a lot of more stuff coming out. And if you're looking to learn from me, my ways of trading, then there is, you can always go to thomascrollo.com or join one of my free trading webinars, which is, there is a recording available right now down in the description. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next videos.